Well, hello, and welcome to today's webinar sponsored by ChemLinked, How to Sell Foods to China Under New GACC Requirements, Decree 248 and 249. I'm today's host, Heather Granado, and I'm pleased to have you join us to learn more about this important and timely topic. Our presenter today is Lenny Tao, Regulatory Analyst with ChemLinked. She's a food regulatory analyst working at ChemLinked with broad experience in the food sector in China, which has afforded her unique insights on key areas, including dairy, infant food, and health food. She's a regular attendee of China's special food training programs and forums, and has delivered speeches at industry conferences such as FHC China 2019. Lenny, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Please wait for a moment and I will share my screen now. Okay, hello everyone, nice to meet you. This is Lenny from ChemLinked. Many thanks to Hi-Fi Asia China for inviting me. It's my honor to be here and share with you China's latest supervision requirements. In the following time, I'll give you an overview about the food importation requirements to China and the procedures to get overseas food manufacturers registered on the new GACC requirements. GACC refers to China Customs. GACC stands for General Administration of Customs of China. Okay, next. Before I begin this speech, please allow me to spare 30 seconds to introduce what ChemLinked is and what we provide, since some of you may be not familiar with ChemLinked. ChemLinked is an information platform which belongs to Reach24H Consulting Group for global food manufacturers. Relying on our own technical advantages and resources, we provide one-stop importing services for overseas enterprises, such as regulation monitoring, market research, training, product registration and filing, ingredient review, regulation translation, consultation, etc. We also provide the service of GACC manufacturer registration for clients and have already helped some of our clients get the registration number. Okay, next. Now let's get back to our topic today. The speech part will be divided into 4 parts. In part 1, I'll give a description about the food importation procedure in China via general trade, including the requirements raised in Decree 249. Then in part 2, I'll introduce the regulatory background of GACC manufacturer registration, including the explanation of its application scope, registration method, etc. And in part 3, I will detail the procedure for you to get your manufacturer registered. In part 4, I'll share with you some elements that are worth attention after submitting the registration application. Now let's begin. Part 1, overview of food importation requirements via general trade. As you might already know, there are 2 ways to enter China's market: general trade and cross-border e-commerce. The difference between the 2 ways is, in general trade, products are supervised as commodity goods, so you can trade the large volume of goods into China, and they are subject to the food regulations and the supervision in China. While on the cross-border e-commerce model, products are regarded as products for personal use. Therefore, CBC products only need to follow the regulations in exporting countries and the requirements raised by CBC platforms like Tmall Global. And they are exempted from many regulations in China, including the major topic we are going to talk about today. In another word, GACC manufacturer registration does not apply to cross-border e-commerce. And we will only talk about the importation on the general trade today. In general trade, China raised some requirements to exporting countries, to overseas manufacturers, to importers, exporters, as well as some requirements related to inspection and quality. Of course, your products must also meet the product standard and other regulations in China. Let's take a closer look at these 5 points. The first premise here is your country needed to pass a national level evaluation and got the approval to export specific goods to China. This is a basic requirement to ensure your product safety, and most countries have already been listed in a catalog of approved countries. I'll show you the details. This platform specifies the approved countries in different food categories, such as meat products, aquatic products, dairy products, etc. As you can see in this screenshot, these are part of the approved dairy categories from Argentina. If your food category is not covered by these 8 food categories, for example, biscuit is not listed in these food categories, then you can skip this point and only need to follow relevant national product standard. After that, overseas enterprises in exporting countries need to get the company registered with China's customs. We call it GACC manufacturer registration. This is a newly released requirement and the key topic we will explain later in the following parts. Then importers in China and exporters in exporting countries also need to complete some requirements. They need to log into this platform to complete the information related to the importation. This step is simple, just to put a record into the system. The purpose of this platform is for tracing imported foods. If you are an exporter in other countries and do not know how to finish this step, you may email me and I'll show you the procedures of this step. And then you also need to meet inspection and quarantine requirements, prepare documents for customs clearance, etc. Key regulations are listed here. And finally, and also the very important one, you need to follow relevant laws and regulations, standards, and test methods in China. It covers ingredient compliance, labeling, claims, advertising, etc. To certain products, besides satisfying product standard, they also need to obtain relevant qualifications, which is different from other ordinary foods. For example, infant formula in China needs to get the recipe registered, and foods for special medical purpose products need to apply for the product registration. House foods are subject to registration and filing supervision, and also the special requirements raised for pet foods and organic foods, etc. If you are trading these products to China but have not got these qualifications, you may also contact us. Okay, we've just finished the 5 key compliance points. Let's see the newly released requirements specified in Decree 248 and 249. Here are the summary of these 2 decrees. First, the key content of Decree 248 is it stipulated a requirement which demands manufacturers of all food categories to complete the manufacturer registration with China Customs, and requires enterprises to label the registration number on the inner and outer package of their products. And the Decree 249 mainly raised the new labeling requirements for products. For example, it stipulated that Chinese label must be directly printed on the minimal sales packaging of imported house food and foods for special dietary uses. A fixing label is not allowed. The scope of foods for special dietary use is listed here. Besides health food and special dietary foods, Decree 249 also listed special labeling requirements for aquatic products and meat products. The labeling of these products should be dual language. And detailed labeling items can also be found in this regulation. If we look at the whole procedure of food importation to China, it will be looked like this. Before the exportation, enterprises should know well of the regulation in China and prepare for the major compliance points I mentioned before. Then ship the goods to China and conduct the customs clearance. The officials will carry out the sampling, inspection, etc. at ports. If you pass the test, then your goods can enter China's market. And when your goods are circulating in China's market, they are also subject to the market supervision. Now let's take a closer look at Decree 248. The requirements of overseas food manufacturer registration is actually stipulated early in China's food safety law, but before the release of Decree 248, only manufacturers of 4 types of foods like meat and dairy products needed to finish this manufacturer registration. I suppose the authority didn't fully implement this article before due to the consideration of feasibility at that time. And then in 2021, last year, to better supervise the food safety of imported products and fully implement the articles raised in the food safety law, Decree 248 expands the registration scope to manufacturers of all kinds of food categories. And all the requirements for this GACC manufacturer registration can be found in these links. Here, I listed the application scope. Almost all food categories needed to finish this registration, excluding food additives and food contact materials. And only these 3 types of enterprises needed to apply for this registration. They are manufacturers, processing facility, and storage facility. To most prepackaged food, the manufacturer for production, processing, and storage is usually the same one. And exporters and shippers are not subject to GACC manufacturer registration. Exporter only need to put a record with GACC system as I described in part 1. After the confirmation of the applicant, the next thing for you to check is if you have met these 4 conditions regulated in Decree 248. These are the preconditions for registration, which are to ensure you are the legal enterprises from approved countries, and you can find the details in Decree 248. After meeting the preconditions for registration, then you need to ensure which supervision type your products belongs to. It will determine the following registration method. Let's take a quick look here. To better ensure the food safety, China Customs divided the supervision of foods into 2 types. In the left column, we can see 18 food categories such as meat, nuts and seeds, dairy, etc. And pay attention here, frozen fruit is newly added as revealed by the registration system. So actually there are 19 food categories in the left column. Such foods are considered with a higher food risk than other regular foods. And the manufacturer registration of them should be recommended by the competent authority in the exporting country. Let's call it recommendation type in this webinar. And for other foods like biscuits, processed products of nuts and seeds, manufacturer can finish the registration by themselves. We call it self-registration. After finding out which supervision type your products belong to, let's see corresponding registration methods. GACC launched a registration platform last year, which is cipher.singlewindow.cn. Do not use any other website. This is the only effective channel for you to get your manufacturer registered. CIPHER stands for China Imported Food Enterprise Registration. I will call it CIPHER system in this webinar for short. So what should you do if you are producing the 19 food categories and should be recommended by your authority? You just need to contact the competent authority in your country first. They will assign you the username and the password for this CIPHER system. And please note the system account given by your authority can help you get access to the registration of all food products, not only the 19 categories. Then you can log into the system with the account and fill in the information by yourself. After you submit the application, your application will be referred to the account of your competent authority. And then your competent authority will review your application, and after confirm all is fine with your application, they will submit your application to GACC's account. At last, GACC will give their decision. For self-registration type, manufacturers can log into this single window platform and register an account directly by themselves because the food they want to apply for the application is belong to the low-risk foods. After that, log in the system and fill in the information. Then submit the application and GACC will make their decisions. And please note the account obtained by themselves can only apply for the registration of low-risk foods. If later you want to sell foods within the 19 high-risk foods, you can apply for account accreditation in the cyber system to upgrade your account. I will show you this function later. After submitting the application, GACC will conduct the review. They may choose a single form or a combination form of document review, video inspection, and on-site inspection. The adopted method will be determined based on food risks. At present, most of your products will be reviewed by document review method, since these food categories are of low-risk foods compared to the 19 food categories. And on-site inspection is also not possible at present due to the pandemic. GACC usually will use video inspection instead for the 19 food categories. And once the manufacturer passed the registration, GACC will release the Chinese registration number in the system. So you need to check your system from time to time. After you got the registration number, you need to tell this to the Chinese company who will help you conduct the import declaration, because this Chinese registration number will be filled in the import declaration system. And without this number, your food importation to China will be rejected. Besides, for foods produced after January 1st, 2022, you need to label the registration number on the inner and outer package of foods. We will talk about the labeling requirement in the final part. And at last, GACC may also conduct the re-examination to ensure the compliance in the future. Okay, now, after having a basic understanding about the registration procedure, let's see the practical operation. First, click this site to log into the cyber system. On this web page, you will see you can choose the language of English for this system on the on the upper right corner. And also you can find all registered enterprises by clicking this register the list button. Also, there are some basic functions for you to log in to the system or for you to register yourself. And if you get the account directly from your competent authority, you can use that account to log into this system directly. If you are a new user and need to apply for the account by yourself, then click this Create an Account button to create this account by yourself. After you click the button Create an Account, and you will see this page. Fill in the information with asterisk. Many will meet the first problem when filling this blank of located country register number. To fill in this blank, you need to confirm this number with your competent authority first. It is because this number is quite different from countries to countries, so I do not know what it will be in your country. For example, in US, it can be the FDA Enterprise Identifier number. I also heard in some countries, they support the use of taxpayer identification number. So you'd better confirm it with your competent authority first. Do not import a random number by yourself. After filling in the information, click the button Register Now to submit the application, and later you will get your account. After you get the system account, remember to choose the English language and log into this system, and you will see this page. The system is still upgrading, so you may find more functions are gradually added into this page, but the operation of basic functions remains the same. From the top to the bottom of this page, you can see your username. The button helps you create the system and the other functions of this system listed on the left. I'll introduce some important ones. This is the account accreditation function we talked about previously. If you apply for the system account by yourself and wanted to register products of the high risk foods, which is within the 19 food categories, then you need to upgrade your account here. The system will read related information automatically, so you only need to import the reason why you want to get your account certified. For example, you can say you want to register the food within the 19 food categories. And then to choose your authority in the system, click Submit, and you can wait for the approval from your competent authority. Your authority will receive your application in their system accounts. In this screenshot, since the enterprise of my account is located in the US, so the system only displays the competent authorities in the US automatically. Okay, after solving the account problem, now we can start the registration. But before the registration, we need to ensure which food category your product is subject to. That's why this function is very important. It can help you find the appropriate classification. Here I use the HS code for non-frozen orange juice as an example. Import the HS code and then click Query. And we will see all the items under this HS code. By reading the description of CIQ name, you can also ensure the CIQ code of your product, or you can check it with your importer in China. Remember this CIQ code, we will use it during the registration. Some columns in this page is in Chinese, so you need to use Google Translate for assistance. From this page, we can ensure the products belong to fruit and vegetable juice. The result no in the last column means this HS code does not need official recommendation, which means enterprises can register the products by themselves. After we ensure the food category, we now can click the button Application for Registration. After clicking the Application for Registration button, you will see the 19 food categories first. On the bottom of the same page, you can see the products subject to self-registration. And find the category beverage, click the symbols on the right here, and you will see the subcategories under the beverage category. Then choose the subcategory fruit and vegetable juice. After you click the specific subcategory, you can see the registration information consists of 4 parts. Enterprise information, information related to the production, statement of the enterprise, and the page related to attachments. Remember, only the blanks with asterisk are mandatory to be filled. Otherwise, you can choose to skip them. Let's see enterprise information first. Since you also submit some information when creating the system account, after you log in the system has read related information here automatically, so it is no need for you to fill in the first line. The second line here is also in gray color. No need for you to fill in these blanks as well. After you get the Chinese registration number, the Chinese registration number will be shown here automatically. As for the plant establishment time, you can select the time in the system and can also type in the time in this format. When you fill in the information of manufacturers, please fill in the information of manufacturers that conduct the actual manufacturing activity. In another word, if you are a brand, then it is not necessary for you to apply for this manufacturer registration. But of course, you can help the manufacturer apply for the registration as an agent. But you need to sign a power of attorney. Going down the same page, you can see these items. You need to submit the production certificate of the enterprise as the products that you want to register. Without an asterisk, it is optional for you to add the exporting trade history within 2 years. But I suggest you that you can submit the information as much as you can, because the application will be reviewed by GACC officials. More information can help them have a better understanding about your food safety and can help them make decisions. So how many products should be registered when adding the products here? Our suggestion is products of the same HS code and the same CIQ code will be recognized as one product. For example, if your products are of the same HS code but belongs to 2 different CIQ codes, then it will be recognized as 2 different products. In another situation, what if your products have different brands? Do you need to register them by different brands? The answer is no, not necessary, because the purpose of Decree 248 is to supervise the food safety of your product. So brands actually do not matter so much. When adding the products here, my suggestion is to submit all of the products of the same subcategory at one time. For example, I added 3 fruit juice products here. It is because after you submit the application, you cannot add a new HS code because the application is still on the proceeding. So what should you do if you forget to add one product into the application? The system has a modification function. You can use that function to add products after your application is approved. Now let's see details about how to add new products here. After clicking Add New Products, you will see this page. Here you can choose your manufacturer type. You need to choose 1 or 2 or all of them based on your real situation. Then in the next line, import the product name. For example, you can use the description like apple juice or orange juice. The name should reflect your product feature. After finishing the product name, click this HS code blank and you will see the HS code list. Choose the one for your product and you may find some of the HS code cannot be found in the list due to the length of page. In this case, you can type in the HS code directly, and then you also need to choose the correct CIQ code for your products. The next blank is about brand. If you do not have a brand, then you can import the word now. Some of our clients are OEMs and they put all of the brand name of their clients in this blank. It is also accepted by GACC. Then it comes to the information related to your warehouse. If you didn't choose storage type in the first line, you can skip these blanks. The last 2 blanks is about the production capacity of your manufacturer. You can fill in the number of your total production capacity here, not only the capacity of foods to China, but the total production capacity in your manufacturer. At last, you can also submit a product photo. It is not a mandatory requirement. The purpose of uploading this picture of your products is not to supervise your product level, but the GACC wants to reconfirm your food classification through your product picture. So just rest assured and upload a photo of your product. A photo of the real product is acceptable. After finishing this page, click Save and we will move to the next page. Okay, this is the page related to production. The ingredient part has become an optional item now. So if your products contain too many ingredients, or if they are changed very frequently, then you can skip this part. For other clients, we advise you that you can try to submit information as much as possible, as I explained earlier. The next item is where you can import the information related to your food ingredient supplier, etc. It is also optional for most food categories. Also, you need to fill in the processing technique of your products. Some will refuse to submit this information out of reasons like business secret. But this blank only demands you to submit a basic description about the processing technique. For example, you can submit the information related to hot or cold treatment, cleaning, etc. A simple description of your overall processing technique is okay. Okay, going down the same page, you will also need to fill in the information related to human resources. After finishing this, click next page, and we will go to the third part about the manufacturer statement. In this part, you need to click the link to download the manufacturer statement. After confirming the content, sign the document and seal, then upload the scanned copy. This step is simple. The content of this enterprise statement, I put a screenshot here. So it looks like this, just to make a commitment. If enterprises do not have a seal, the declaration without a seal is also acceptable. We have helped some of our US clients to get the registration number without a seal. The last page is about attachment. In this page, you can see the documents you submitted in previous steps. If all is fine with the attachments, then click preview and you will see all the information you have been finished before. And then after confirming the information, do not forget to click submit. Then the application will be sent to GACC directly. We have seen a case where the manufacturer haven't got their application for 1 month, and it turns out that they've got to click the button of submit. So make sure you didn't make mistake in the final step. If you have met problems during the registration, you may also email us for help. We can help with the registration both within the 19 food categories and beyond. Finally, I summarized the principle and suggestion for you to fill in the information. The first principle is honest. The second one is to explain your situation clearly. For example, when you fill in the reason for account accreditation, just explain your situation clearly, like you want to sell a high-risk food to China, so you need to upgrade your account. The third point here is try to submit the information as much as possible. Although many items are optional to be filled in, we still suggest that you can complete them as much as possible because it can help the officials have a better understanding about your product safety. We also have received questions like, in order to let the officials know better about the product safety, can I upload files like GACC system? The answer is, of course you can. For example, when you upload the production certificate, you can add other qualified certificates together and make them into one PDF and upload them. After you submit the application, there are also other elements worth attention. You may meet this situation after submitting the application. If you want to check the registration number granted by GACC, you can find the answer in this page. Click the button Integrated Query and then click Application Form Query. If your application is approved, the registration number will be shown in the second column. The approved registration number consists of 2 parts, 4 English letters and 14 numbers. Why would it be so long? Because it contains information of your country, the food category of your products, etc. And each food category has 1 registration number. For example, if I have a manufacturer which produces biscuit and beverage, then I will at least have have at least 2 registration numbers for these 2 categories. In this page, you can also see the application status and feedback from the authority. For example, the status of this application is approved. You can also find the registered application by clicking registration information, and you can see the state and the expiration date of your application. Here is where you can find the operation menu. Since we choose the language of English at the beginning, so it is also an English version menu for to help you get familiar of this system. This user manual is very useful. If you do not understand the meaning of the application status, here are 16 application status and their explanations. You can find them in the menu. For example, the status of your application accepted do not means approved. Accept just means GACC accept your application and will start to review your application soon. The next function here is where you can find some contact information of the team. If you have technical problems related to the system, you can email the technician team to this email. I also provided other contact information here. The first one is GACC hotline. The second number here is the agency that maintains this registration system. Besides these supervision requirements, Decree 248 also details the management of registration modification, renewal, suspension, and revoke. The major conditions and situations are listed here. If you check the system carefully, then you will find that the system also included these functions. For example, here is how to modify your application. After you get the Chinese registration number, if you want to change the registration information, then you need to click this button, Modification Registration, and you will see this page. Here you can find your approved application. Find the food category you want to revise and click Modify. Then it will jump to the registration page, and you are able to revise the information, for example, to add new HS code into the application. And during the application for modification, you may find that the system requires you to submit a document related to this modification. And remember, one of our principles is to explain your situation clearly. So if you forgot to add one HS code into this application, you can just write this reason down into a document and submit it, this document to the system. You can also, there is also another situation. For example, if you change your company name, then you need to submit a relevant certificate to prove you have changed your company name. Of course, you can also add some description to explain your situation, and that can also help the official understand the necessity of modification. Just to make the certificate and your description into one document and upload them together. Okay, the next very useful function is about the query of registered enterprises. Besides checking the registration number in the system, here is also a query platform open for the public, where your importers in China can also check your Chinese registration number. And of course, you can also view the registration information of other enterprises. Now, finally, let's see, after you get the Chinese registration number, how to label it on the package. First, according to the regulation, you need to label registration number both on the inner and outer package of food products. Inner and outer package here refers to transport, packaging, and sales unit of food products. Registration number can be the Chinese registration number or the registration number in your country. Let's see a case study. Suppose you are an enterprise that sells tea products to China. You need to label the registration number on the transport package and minimal sales unit of products. In this case, transport package is the carton. And then the minimal sales unit in this case is the product box, which contains 10 individual packs inside. So you need to label the registration number on it. For the packaging of the 10 small individual tea bags, since they are not for sale, then it is not necessary to label the registration number on them. Another question is, must the registration number be printed on the package? The answer is to regular food, you can use stickers or label the information by printing. Both methods are okay. But to products like health food and special dietary food, the label must be printed before the exporting to China as per Decree 249. So how about the label size and position? For the labeling on the transport packaging, it depends on you. You can put the registration number where it can be seen easily. The size is up to you as well. Just make it easy to be seen. For the labeling on the sales unit, you should follow GB 7718. This is the national standard for prepackaged food labeling in China. I suggest that you can add the registration number together with the information on the original Chinese label. When adding the registration number on the package, we also advise to add a description before the registration number. For example, you can add the description like this is a Chinese registration number, or this is the manufacturer registration number, because it would be easier for consumers to understand what these letters and the numbers stand for. Let's see how others label the registration number. On the left, it is a sales unit of a yogurt. The registration number in exporting country is labeled on the package with a leading term to show it is a registration number of producers. On the right, it is a transport unit of yogurt products. The registration number in exporting country is labeled on the package. Decree 248 didn't specify the location of this registration number, so you can totally decide it by yourself. Okay, it's the end of my speech part. Hope I have clarified clearly about the situation related to GACC food manufacturer registration. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you so much for that informative presentation, Lenny. It's certainly a lot of critical information to understand, not only those general food importation requirements, but also the GACC registration process and issues to address after you submit that application. Certainly submitting as much information as possible from the beginning and being honest and direct with your documents is clearly the path to success. As we wrap up, let me share my screen. Here, share. There we go. So I'd like to conclude by noting this webinar was organized by HI and FI Asia China, China's one-stop shop for the food and health industry. In addition to sourcing, HI and FI Asia China is a perfect platform to network with key exhibitors and industry professionals and to learn about the latest trends through a wide range of on-site educational features. The offline exhibition of HI and FI Asia China will be held November 8th to 10th at the Shanghai New International Expo Center. If you would like more information about the exhibition, please scan the QR code to visit the official website. If you want to register as a visitor to the exhibition, you can scan the second QR code. This webinar will be made available on demand on the HI and FI Asia China Virtual Expo Connect website. In addition to leading-edge lectures, we also brought import and export matchmaking services and consulting services to audiences all over the world this year. Access more exciting digital content by scanning that final QR code. Again, thank you for joining us for today's presentation by ChemLinked.